Today we are starting section 3.3. 3.3 is actually going to take us 2 days, so you can see in our goal what we're doing today and what we're doing tomorrow. Today we are finding the slope using a graph, and tomorrow we're finding slope using coordinates. Any questions before we get going?
Hey, that makes sense.
You guys ready? A little talking? Okay. All right, slope is actually the steepness of a line. So anytime you hear me say slope, we're talking about how steep the line is. Do you guys know what the word denoted means? It just means like another way to say slope. So instead of writing out the word slope, we're going to use the line M. So anytime you see M equals, we're talking about the slope. M is the same thing as slope. All right, here's a little bit more about slope. So you do need to write this down. This is how we're going to find slope using the graphing method. So the first thing you want to do is you want to start at a point. I always start at the left point. You need two values to find your slope. You need your rise value and you need your run value. Rise goes on top. Rise is the change either going up or down. If you're going up, it's positive. If you're going down, it's negative. Then we're going to count our run. Our run is our change side to side. So if you're going right, it's a positive number. If you're going left, it's a negative number. So down here you can see that slope, the star means it's very important. Slope is always written as rise over run. So when we're doing the graphing method, we count the change up and down. That number goes on top. Then we count the change left or right. That number goes on the bottom. And we'll end up with a fraction. That's our slope. Now, the most common mistake I see in this section is students can't remember which number goes on top, rise or run. So I always tell students to think about your morning routine. What's the first thing you do?
The sun rises up.
Okay.
First thing you do.
The sun rises. Today I was up before the sun, so we won't use that one. What do you physically do?
Lift up.
You rise out of bed, and then I always run to the bathroom, right?
I just remember that because the sun.
Okay, so you can think of the sun rises and then you go for your morning run. Oh, beautiful scene. I like to think of every single person in the whole wide world has to go to the bathroom when they wake up, okay? So you got to rise up and then you got to run to the bathroom before you have an accident, okay? So you got to rise up and then you got to run into the bathroom. You can't run into the bathroom before you rise out of bed, right? It'll get a little messy. So you got to rise first, you got to run to the bathroom. Any questions on slope? I am recording this lesson, so the whole world of YouTube now knows that your arm is hurting. You can actually forward this link to your doctor, and maybe they can help you, okay? Any other questions or comments you'd like on the YouTube channel?
Follow me.
I have around 32 subscribers last time I checked.
Shout out to all my friends.
Okay. So first I'm going to count our rise number. Remember, I always start on the left point. So I need to rise. Count with me. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm moving up 4 spaces. So in your notes, write up 4. Since you're not drawing the graph, I want you to have a visualization of what happened. You went up 4, okay? So 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm right here. Now I need to run how many? 5, it looks like. So now we're going right 5 spaces. We put our rise number on the top. So we have rise over run. You need to write this in your notes too. What is our rise number if we went up 4? It's not a trick question. What's our rise if we went up 4? It's 4, positive 4. What's our run if we went right 5? Positive 5. So our slope here is 4 over 5. What that means is every time you go up 4, you go right 5. Up 4, right 5, up 4, right 5. That is what slope means. And figure out our rise and our run. So I'm going to start on the leftmost point. Count with me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I moved down 6 spaces. Then I'm going to go right 1, 2, 3, 4 spaces. So, what do you think my rise number is going to be if I went down? It's -6. And then you went right. So is the 4 positive or negative? Positive. So we have -6 over +4. Now, here's the tricky part. You need to reduce these. So if you notice, like here, 2 goes into both of them, what you're actually doing is dividing the top by 2 and the bottom by 2. Or, remember the calculator has that ABC button? If you hit -6 ABC4, it does something that it's not supposed to do. It makes it a mixed number for you. It'll tell you 1 1/2. If you hit the blue second button and the ABC button again, it will make it an improper fraction for you. That's what we want, okay? So if you want me to show you on your particular calculator how to do that, again, mixed numbers are not okay. Improper fractions are okay. If you're not sure how to do that, just raise your hand and I'll come show you. And then again, if you want to write the negative in the front or with the top number or with the bottom number, it's fine. As long as you just have one negative when the overall sign is negative, okay? One other thing I want to point out. Did you see on number 1 our slope was positive and the line was going up from left to right? Here our line is going down from left to right and our slope is negative. That is not a coincidence. Anytime your line is traveling uphill from left to right, your slope will be positive. If you're going downhill from left to right, your slope will be negative. There are questions like that on your homework, so we are going to look at that idea again, but just keep that in mind as we're going through these. All right, any questions? Here's number 3. So again, I'll give you a second to write this part down. All right, so let's figure out our rise. Remember, I always start at the left point, so I'm going to rise how many? 2. So I'm going up 2 spaces. How many am I running? Ready? Whoop.
1.
Whoop. Yes, I'm going right 1 space. Moving up is positive. Moving right is also positive. So my rise and my run are both positive here, which makes sense because from left to right the line's going up, so it should be a positive slope. So my slope is 2 for my rise and 1 for my run. Now, some people want to make that a whole number of 2. Remember, anything over 1 is just that number. Anytime I talk about slope, I always use 2 numbers, sort of like rate of change. Slope and rate of change are the same thing. But I am just going to keep it as a fraction over 1. If you turned it in and said your answer was 2, I would not even think about marking it wrong. It's totally correct. Questions? All right, here's our last example. So we are going to have 5 total examples. This is the last regular example. The next one you'll see it's about special lines. So again, let's look at how we're moving from our left dot to our right dot. What do I do, up or down? Down, how many? 1. So my rise is down 1. Okay, so I went down 1, and then I'm going to go right how many? 4. So my rise value if I went down is what? -1 over, what's my run? +4. My slope here is -1/4. What are your questions about slope? So, horizontal lines, the way I remember horizontal lines is like the horizon. The horizon is like, or the sunsets off in the distance. The earth and the horizon goes side to side, right? So that's a horizontal line. A horizontal line has a slope that is equal to 0. So anytime you see a line like this, the slope is 0. I will show you more about why on the graph, but for now, just know that a horizontal line has a slope of 0. What does a vertical line look like? It's up and down. Like in basketball, they talk about people's vertical. It's like how high they can jump, straight up and down. Okay, so that's a vertical line. A vertical line has a slope of undefined. Now, there is a little memory trick that I use for this. I like to think of the sport of skiing. Let's put a little skier on this horizontal line. Now this skier is feeling a little sad. Why is he sad?
You don't have no gear.
He's got the sticks.
He ain't got no legs.
He's got legs. Well, he's got a leg. Okay. He is sad because he isn't going anywhere. What do you need to ski? A slope, right? He doesn't have any slope. The slope is 0. He is going 0 miles an hour. That is why he is so sad. So think of the little skier going 0 miles an hour. Okay? Now let's look over here. What do you think this skier is feeling?
Heavy because he's going down the hill.
Ah, he's freaking out.
sad.
Ah. He's going to end up being undefined, right? We're not really sure what's going to happen to him. So if you're skiing down a vertical slope, nobody really knows. It's undefined what your future is, okay? So I like to think of the little skiers to help me out. Any questions on the skiers? Now, I'm going to show you on the graph mathematically why this works. And this is example 5. So put example 5 in your notes. Look at line A right here. I'm just going to pick 2 points on line A. What is my rise? 0. What is my run? Oh, my run is 3. What is 0 divided by 3?
0 divided by 3 is 3?
No. 0. 0 divided by any number is 0.
I'm going to say 0.
Hey, again, YouTube famous. Keep it under control, please.
Famous name.
Okay,
Famous name.
so do you see from this point to this point, I don't rise at all. My rise is 0, my run is 3. 0 over 3 is just 0. Okay, let's see how it will work on B. Line B is over here. I'm just going to pick 2 random points. What is my rise now? 2. What is my run? 0. You cannot divide by a 0. It is not mathematically possible. It does not give you an answer. This is undefined. Now, that is all the material we're covering today. This is kind of tricky stuff. It's new to you, so I'm going to give you your homework. We're going to do one from each section together on the board before I let you go on your own. Now, I am not going to stop and tell you to be quiet. I am not going to tell you, like, everybody listen to me. If you guys start talking, you're just on your own. Okay? This is the part I'm required to show you. The homework is just me being a little extra helpful. Okay? So I'm going to pass it out. If you guys are quiet, we can go over it together. If you're not quiet, you guys are on your own. That we're given a constant rate of change. So if you're given a constant rate of change, you don't need to check it every single time. Once you find it between 2 points, you can be done. Okay? So, number 1, I need to subtract the y's first. What is 39 minus 48? Negative 9, good. And then I'm going to do the x's on the bottom. What is 5 minus 2? 3. What is negative 9 over 3? Negative 9 divided by 3 is what? Negative 3. So this is actually negative 3 over 1. Now, you can check it and check it and check it if you want. That's if you're trying to determine if it is constant. They already told us it was constant. So once you find it between 2 points, that's what it's going to be for all of them. So you can just stop after that. You're going to do the same thing on number 2. Any questions? Okay, so number 3, the directions make it look really long. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to graph it. We're going to find the slope using the graph. So remember, these are just ordered pairs. It's just another way to show the ordered pair -1, 2. Okay, this is still the ordered pair 0, 3. So again, just graph those like we learned to do on Tuesday. This is the x, this is the corresponding y. So I'm going to graph -1, 2. So left 1, up 2. 0, 3, so side to side 0, up 3. 1, 4, so right 1, up 4. 2, 5 is right 2, up 5. And 3, 6 is right 3, up 6. So this is what your graph should look like. I'm going to connect them with a line. Now, after you graph the points, we are supposed to find the slope. So pick any 2 points you want. In the directions, it says to use the 2nd and the 5th, so I'll go with that, but really any of the points will work. But I'm going to use 0, 3, and 3, 6, just because the directions wanted me to. Doesn't really matter. Okay, I'm going to rise 3 and run 3. So my slope is rising 3, running 3. 3 over 3 reduces to 1 over 1. So my slope here is 1 over 1. If you picked a different point, your slope might have been 2 over 2 or 5 over 5. It just depends on which points you picked, but it should always reduce to the same thing if you did it correctly. What are your questions on number 3? Now, we hinted on how to do this part in the notes, but we never actually wrote it down, so we definitely need to do these together. Determine if the slope of the line has a positive or a negative charge. So is it a positive slope or a negative slope? Remember, if it's going up from left to right, it's positive. If it's going down from left to right, it's negative. So what is this line doing?
Down.
Going up. Like a roller coaster, you'd be like click, 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 click. You know, this is where you're going up. So this has a positive slope. What about this one? Whee! That's a negative slope. What about this one?
Negative.
Also negative. And number 7, positive. Okay? So again, make sure you're moving left to right. If you're going the wrong way, it's easy to think it's positive or negative. You got to concentrate on left to right just like you read. Questions on that one? Okay, we're going to jump right into number 8. Number 8 is actually the last problem you have to do on this homework. The rest of them we're doing tomorrow. So this homework assignment is actually going to last you 2 days.
Yay.
So thank you, Thomas, for the enthusiasm. You can actually just put a squiggly line right there. This is where you're going to stop. But there's a bunch of parts for this one. You have to do the slope for A, the slope for B, the slope for C, the slope for D, the slope for E, the slope for F, the slope for G. Okay, so you need to find the slope for all of these lines. I'm going to do A and B with you. For number A, how much are you rising?
2.
1. How much are you running? 1. So my slope here is 1 over 1. That's what you're doing on this. So part B, I'm starting on the left line. I am going down 1, 2, 3, 4. Anytime you go down, it's a negative. And then you're going right 1, 2, 3. Okay, you are in charge of number 2 on the front. We skipped that one. And the rest of this on the back. If you finish, put it in a safe place because this is your homework assignment for tomorrow. If you lose this, you're losing 2 nights worth of homework. So keep it safe.